seeing young people taking over places of power, places where decisions are made. It keeps me optimistic and it leaves me hungry for more.
Today I invited Ugandan activists to talk with us about climate crisis in the global south and why we need climate finance.
Well, young people are playing a role to amplify the stories of grassroots communities, indigenous communities, communities that are most vulnerable to the climate crisis. My vision for the future is to see a world where everyone has access to food, to clean water, to clean air, and a clean environment.
And I come from a farming family. In the past years, we have had severe droughts that have affected us. When I was still young, we used to take long journeys with livestock to help them get water and help them get food. As time passed by, we had to walk longer distances. There was no water very close by. I didn't realize this, but when I went to university and I became a climate activist, I found a reason to fight. It is not just about climate change, is not just about the weather, but it's also about the social impact. So we are here to let you face the truth and make your companies and make the politicians put pressure on the corporations and also the people in power to take action.
It's our world and we will fight with everything we have to protect our future and the future of our children.